Welcome to episode 332, Butthurt on Social. This morning, Matt and I get together and talk about social media interactions, dialogues, sharing of experiences of things that went horribly wrong as a result of defensiveness and differences of opinions and perspectives. Anyway, we talk about the importance of allowing others to interact with your content on social and being open to having your own mind changed. We hope you enjoy the show.
Good morning, Doug.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, your lighting looks very different.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to get it. It's a little too clinical, and while I like it, because I don't, these things, the glasses and my vision light helps me read better, but the whole vibe of this kind of, what would you call it? I don't want it to be so much of a doctor's office. It's a clinical type of thing. And
hanging beads, some macrame.
Yeah, so I turned off the lights and I'm just trying it with my my light that I do with my camera here, and actually it's kind of nice. So
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever looked into getting some like LEDs or something, some colored lights that you can shine up the walls? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about it, and I think I'm going to look into it. I think that around all my panels, I'd like to do LED lighting around the back of them.
Yeah, that'd be
the thing is, though, is like I really don't want to have like a dozen remote controls, so I don't know exactly how that works, because I just would like to control everything with like one app on my, I think some of them have cell phone apps, and just control it like that. And then I want them to be battery powered, because I don't want to try and run all the power and use up outlets for that. So
I'll bet you could do it with one of those things that Twitch streamers use. I forget what they're called. It's like a little programmable deck that basically you can create scenes and launch all kinds of automation with them. They come in a couple different sizes. They're not expensive either, but
really.
I was just thinking,
maybe if you think of it, if you know what it is, send me a link or something.
I will. I wouldn't do too much color, because you did such a nice job of kind of doing matched tones and stuff in your room.
No, I'd like to just have like white light, but not direct, and have it shining from the back of the panels onto the wall, so it's a glow around the panels and stuff. And I could just do it all the way around, and then of course the those hanging incandescents like what you have. I think those are awesome.
Yeah, they're cool. They're not that much light, but they're like just enough light to give a vibe and let me see what the heck I'm doing when it's not so bright out.
Yeah, and you use those to heat your studio in the wintertime, right?
Oh, right. No, they're just Christmas lights. I do have a space heater, and today is the first day I've actually considered putting it on. It's really kind of feeling a little nippy in the morning here all of a sudden.
Oh.
The geese, they've been migrating for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, well, we're just, August has seemed to be like the longest month of the summer so far, and it's here, it's hot and humid and buggy, and I'm so looking forward to September. Things to start cooling off, and the mornings are cooler now and everything. It's been really nice, and we've had some amazing skies. The skies have just been incredible, and sunsets, just big. We get, I know you don't like as much, we get like pretty big thunderstorms and stuff here, and as a result we get like huge columns of cumulus clouds and things like that.
Wow.
And they're just majestic,
we get that, but up in the mountains, like it bypasses us and goes right up to like Tahoe,
right. The mountains kind of suck all that out of all that energy out, and you guys don't get it there, but it was the same thing up north too. But
we have our September is actually our hottest month. September, October, we get like an Indian summer. In fact, in San Francisco, they call August Foggust.
Okay.
Because it's cold and foggy.
Really? Okay.
Foggust is upon us.
Yeah, I guess that's the coldest summer thing in the Bay Area.
Coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
people don't believe it till they come here. I see all the tourists on top of the the open top buses going across the Golden Gate Bridge, taking pictures of nothing because it's all white and foggy. And they're up there with their t-shirts on, freezing. It's like poor guys.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were getting into. Anyway.
So you've been working on anything fun this week?
This week was college move week, so that's what I've been working on. Packing and driving. So that's done, and then I've got to do it again in 3 weeks.
Oh.
So yeah, just trying to keep on top of stuff. What about you?
Oh, I've been just spending a lot of time in the studio here, just a ton of work, and it's been great. So it's really nice to just do one master after another, working with a lot of music, and it's fun.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it when they all kind of roll in, man, and just no idle time, spending spending time twisting knobs and listening to music. What could be better, So
Indeed. So what is our topic today?
you've been you ever been blocked on social media before?
Have I been blocked? I've been blocked. I've been blocked on social media by people that I was having, up until the time I was blocked, having good conversations with. I mean, it was kind of surprising and confusing. I don't take that stuff personally, Once in a while somebody says something to me and I'm like, I used to take it more personally, but I try not to let random internet people get under my skin. The worst thing anybody said to me lately was, overwhelmingly the people on my TikTok channel have been supportive and like almost overly effusive with their good comments. But one person just saw my 9 Inch Nails t-shirt and was like, why 9 Inch Nails? They only had one good song. I was like, I didn't even engage. I'm like,
yeah.
And if anybody who's going to diss 9 Inch Nails or talk about my shirt like that, it's like, I don't have time for you.
Yeah, that's funny. I just did a little promo a couple of weeks ago that I was looking to work with artists in the genre of 9 Inch Nails and industrial. Because I just dig listening to that music. I'd really like to work with it. And that's a genre that hasn't, it's early 90s genre, and it's I haven't heard any recent artists playing in that genre. I do hear a lot of current music that is influenced in grunge,
Yeah, that seems to be coming back right now.
But
like a resurgence of grunge style music, which I like that,
But so I know it's subjective, but I listen to 9 Inch Nails, and there's sonically it's amazing. The engineering is incredible, and his name escapes me right now. Who's the lead, the frontman? Yeah, thank you. And the stuff he did, and lyrically and the singing, it's just I just think that band is incredible.
He's one of my musical and production heroes. His songs, his lyrics, his production quality, his soundscapes.
The soundscape, it is intense, and there's so much good engineering going on there. I mean,
he's an Oscar winner now,
and and the arrangement and everything. It's just so good. So, if you don't like him, I recommend, man, just go sit down and have a listen from a different perspective or something, because listen to how the songs are constructed and the sonic texture and everything that's in them. And there's so much more there going on than just being loud, but
I agree. They were on an Austin City Limits where they did more of a kind of not acoustic, but almost like an unplugged. And a friend of mine literally had seen that and texted me immediately, said, I didn't get it before, but now I get it.
Yeah.
They're good. And then we went to go see them together. So yeah, haters on the internet sometimes some people say you know, that's how you know you're doing something right. This way you get somebody who
Yeah.
rails against you. But some people also just kind of come online to stir up shit and be be negative for the sake of being negative. I don't quite understand that mentality, but I've seen it often enough that I know it's a thing that people do.
Yeah. Well, I got blocked last week by another engineer, in fact.
Oh.
Um, and it was interesting. I like to join conversations on social when someone makes a post or whatever, and
Mhm.
either in support of, or if I have contradictory feelings, I'll share those too.
Mhm.
But I always do that in what I think is a courteous and respectful way.
I
You know,
imagine that you do. You're generally courteous and respectful.
you know, yeah, CNR, that's me. And but and so this post went out, and the topic was, you don't have to have a treated room to produce music.
Mm,
um and I I think I agree with that. That's a valid statement. The thing is, though, what does it take to produce music without a treated room?
headphones.
Well, yeah, but that's another thing, is headphones are just one component, in listening. And if you do everything in headphones, then you've got an entire um, uh, set of balance in the
Right.
way that your music produced that isn't being checked during your mix.
Yeah,
So a combination of open air and in headphones, I think, is important. So,
I agree.
and not to get into gear yet, but so yeah, speakers and some room treatment, I think, are important. But yeah, and what I said in my comment was, I agree that you can work on music production in an untreated room. The caveat being that you need to have practiced to a great extent
Yeah.
on listening to reference tracks and getting your ear used to working, in a room with with comb filtering and
Right.
standing waves and
Ending waves, all that stuff.
reverberations and all the characteristics that are going to come with that. And I said, if this is a budget thing, I would recommend having a soft couch, grabbing some blankets off the bed and hanging them up around, and doing whatever you can do within the means that you have available, and to try and help. Otherwise, you are really saying that I'm going to practice for years to learn this room with reference tracks so that when I mix, I can compensate in my ear for the sonic inadequacies of the room.
Right.
And I think that's a valid point.
I agree. And then that knowledge and that ear training is not transferable to any other
No,
space.
no, it's this room. So, so, that I posted that, and I don't think that was aggressive. I was really just trying to open up a conversation around that,
Inflammatory.
and wow, this person was so defensive and and kind of lambasted me, uh because of my studio and the way that I have things set up, and that that I'm all about, you have to have expensive treatments and gear and everything like that in order to produce music, and be analog. She got into the whole analog versus digital thing. And I um I said I'm just trying to have a conversation, a dialogue about the topic of your post. I mean, I'm not trying to, um, you know, be aggressive on this or anything, but I think there's a good discussion to be had about room treatments here, and
Mhm.
in the context of your post, so that people know that
There's two sides of the story.
there's some things they can do to make improvements
Yeah.
that will be of benefit to them long term. and like, you can get a $10 moving blanket, down at the cheap tool store,
Yep.
and those things work really well. A cheap room divider, and you hang some blankets over it, and you have a standing gobo. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So there's stuff, and I actually have that over here. I have a cheap room divider with a colored blanket that matches my decor, and that's just for catching reverberations off the back here, because there's a hallway, and I didn't want it to be completely open. I wanted to close that down. And but anyway, kind of back on that, the next discourse was, we are done here.
Oh, really?
And I was blocked, and
Wow.
the discussion was over. And
Weird.
really, they left it as, I'm the guy that thinks everybody needs to have outboard analog gear, and mixing in the box is a horrible thing.
Well, let me ask you this, because this was all very interesting to
Which
me.
I don't know how they got to that,
Yeah.
but
So is this somebody that you've talked to before, that you were familiar with, that knows you that well?
no, didn't know each other. We're kind of within some same groups,
Hmm.
for of engineers,
Okay.
and I'm sure, I'm familiar with the account, through those community groups, and I
Mhm.
would assume they're maybe familiar with mine. I don't know.
Maybe they paid more attention than you thought. Well, it is weird. I mean, there's certainly a lot of there's certainly a lot of people proclaiming that this is the way, and so much of it is contradictory, and we've seen that over the years. People
Yeah,
calling each other posers, and people saying you can't do this, you can't do that, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, and there's no one. I mean, there are people out there producing albums on their iPhones. There's no one way to do anything, but
yeah,
to
yeah.
get
This
that
is not the
riled up,
Mandalorian of audio production, so
right? It's
it's more
just
like
to get
these
that
are the
riled up.
ways.
Yeah. To insist so much that you're right that you can't hear the other side, that's wild.
Yeah, and immediately, without any discussion, it was
Yeah,
just
shut
to
you down.
enter, and I knew, right off the bat, that it was probably, I was exiting, and like I said, my last comment was, I just was hoping to add to the discussion,
Yeah.
and talk about this with you, for
Mhm.
for us and for your readers. And but no,
Yeah,
you
I
know
like having discussions because it gets you get multiple perspectives. You hear things you wouldn't have necessarily known or heard of before.
yeah,
You find out what other people are doing. I mean, like I was mentioned before. I mean, when I started DIY Music Chat, it wasn't because I positioned myself as an expert and knew the answers to things. I had questions, and I was kind of like trying to find out what other people were doing, and kind of
yeah,
crowdsourcing the answers to things, finding out, well, what interface do you use, and how do you record this, and okay, so then you get like 20 opinions, and then you can kind of build your own. So to think that there's only one way to do anything is wild, and to think that that's the hill you're going to die on.
yeah.
Room treatment makes no sense.
Yeah, and it's, I'm happy, and a bit fortunate. All my treatments except the white ones here, I built myself,
Yeah.
you know, and I bought the fabric from a local fabric store, and I went to the big box lumber and got the MDF. Actually had them cut it for me so I could make the frames. I screwed the frames together, and ordered the rock wool insulation. They're nice panels. They're as nice as anything you would buy, but I was able to do it a lot cheaper than that, because I am budget conscious, and
Sure.
I got these because they look really nice, and I saved for like a year and a half, to have some extra money to get
Yeah.
these nice. These are GIK acoustics,
Oh, yeah, that's a good brand.
and they look nice, and they're at the front of my studio. They're in most all of my photos. I wanted something that looked really nice up there.
Mhm.
It's a little dark right now, but I built this diffuser.
I
I'll
still
ne-
can't believe you built that because those are amazing.
I'll never build another one. That was the biggest pain in the butt ever.
You can
But
buy those on Etsy and stuff, but
yeah, but they're really expensive. I
yeah.
built this thing for maybe
But you know why? Because they're a pain in the butt.
75, 80 bucks. And yeah, they're expensive because and I don't take that against them. They deserve the money that they're
Right.
selling them for. I just didn't want to pay it, and that's my thing. And so I built that, and I'll never do that again. Because those are like just like I said, a pain in the butt to build. But there's a lot of sweat equity in everybody's studios. I know you as well, all the work that you've done on your treatments and your ceiling, and the aesthetics and lighting, and everything that goes with that.
Sweat equity, that's a good term. I
Yeah,
like that. Yes, there
you
definitely is.
know and I think most people who have a studio, whether it be a home project studio, or in a professional studio, they're putting their own efforts into that studio
Yeah.
in some ways, unless it's a corporation, but for individuals, and we just do what we can. And that was my point in that post, is that do what you can,
Yeah.
even if it's just hanging up the comforter off your bed, you know.
Right.
And we talked, about, VO recording and stuff like that, and working in your closet,
Sure. Yeah. That's
stuff like
common.
that works fantastic,
Yeah.
and do things that help improve your situation, that are within your means. And that could be cost $0, just to do something simple like that. If you got a couch close, move it over behind you so that it's absorbing stuff.
That's what I was going to say, because you don't really have to have a treated room if you're recording in a room full of furniture with a carpet or rugs and
Yeah,
bookcases, because bookcases are great diffusers,
yeah.
and couches are great
You know,
absorbers. So are
plants,
curtains,
like
plants,
plants are
curtains.
great diffusers. Um, and so anything along those lines, it doesn't have to be purchased from a professional, acoustics company. You can certainly do this stuff. But
So I'm just still trying to wrap my head around this. So this person's take was that you were kind of it sounds like their take was that you were kind of an elitist gear snob. That you could afford a whole bunch of expensive stuff and that they didn't need to hear your opinion. Was that
yeah,
kind of it? Is
I
that
would
the
I would
gist
say
of it?
that's accurate. But
Oh.
then I was like, is that accurate? you know, the I love audio. I love audio tools. Okay. And I think that there's a place for all kinds of different things to be incorporated into your production work.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
there's tools that solve problems. There's tools that provide you with ways to express your artistic inspirations, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
and um there's tactile interaction that I really like. I don't know if if in my age group, growing up and working with hi-fi audio and stereo systems that we had, everything was hands-on, touching,
Knobs,
knobs and
faders,
buttons, and
bouncing
yeah,
needles, and
yeah,
all that.
and just because of that, that's a nostalgic thing for me, and I find great enjoyment in having that hands-on thing more than just the trackpad
Right.
and keyboard and stuff like that. Those tools, man, I am hybrid most all the time, um, and that's because I've got digital tools that work so well.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of what is the choosing the right tool for the job. What am I enjoying to use right now? Maybe I've got an analog tool and a digital tool, and I could use either one of them. Which one do I have more fun with today? you know
Right.
um and so there's those type of aspects of having, your personal enjoyment and things like that, and doing things, and we're always on the lookout for a great plugin that's going to do something that we need, just like, or a great outboard piece of gear that
Yeah.
would add like a character or quality that we think would be a great addition to our sound, and because in the end, when the music leaves the studio, it sounds like Douglas Reynolds,
Mm.
and that's what I want. I want to have my sound, and so the things that I choose are based on what I like, you know. Um,
And one of the
and
things that isn't taken into account is that by a person like we're talking about, is it's an evolution.
oh
You
yeah,
start at one place and I mean, you didn't
yeah.
used
No,
to
I
have
went
this.
out shopping at the mastering store this weekend, just brought it all
Mastering
back,
store. Yeah, yeah. I went to the mixing store and I bought all these things. No, I mean, when I started, I was literally on like a TV tray in a closet,
yeah,
you know. And now I have a backyard, home
yeah.
studio. And
You
it's an
know,
evolution. You
the
get things, you acquire stuff, you up level, you up level, you up level.
yeah.
But everybody starts somewhere.
This desk that I have here, which I like this desk. I've had this desk. This was my first desk.
Yeah,
It has a glass top on it, but I didn't like the glass because of the reflection,
right.
and I could hear it. It was measurable, and so I covered it, with some cool kind of faux snake skin, which is
Mhm, mhm.
you remember when I did that? I was all
Oh,
excited about it.
yeah.
And so I just covered the glass with that just to soften it. And I picked up this table for like $80 at the Rejuvenation store. You know, um, so go around to your Goodwills, your Habitat for Humanity stores, and
Right.
things like that, and see what you can find. There's lots
Oh,
of
totally.
ways. And this has been a great desk. I do hope to trade it out here sometime soon because ergonomically it's not the best having my outboard gear off to the side of me.
Oh, yeah.
But this has been super functional and enjoyable to sit at, and I have a junk drawer in it, for that I've got like picks and cables and
That's
uh,
important.
my 1/4 inch adapters that no one is allowed to touch, and you know,
Yeah,
so
I have a Tupperware of those here somewhere. Just of nothing. It's literally just a container of nothing but adapters.
yeah,
8 inch to 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch to 8 inch, stereo to mono, mono to it's like the whole
yeah,
thing. A couple of those elusive gold tipped ones that are headphone adapters, the screw on kind that
yeah,
leave the studio. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, I think I was more bummed out that someone wouldn't just open up a dialogue and that they would be you know so defensive about
Yeah.
what they're saying, and that they took it as a personal attack. And I would hope that if I engage with you on social that that I want to open up the discussion, and if I'm wrong, tell me,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and and I'll assess that, and I also assure you that if you persuade me that I'm wrong, that I'll say, okay, yeah, I get it, I'm wrong, and I'm not afraid to to own that, and because that's cool, because if I come out of a situation like that with my mind changed, and I've learned something new, I've had you've helped me improve somewhere in something that I've misunderstood or didn't perceive in a way that I hadn't thought of before, and I think that's constructive. So
It is. Well, you're a mature individual.
yeah,
So I'm trying to unpack what happens here. First of all, for the most part, the music community, and that includes well, most engineers that I've encountered, are very inclusive and supportive, but um there is some elitism, and there is some definite people just kind of trying to be black and white about something that's really gray. But I think when people do something like this and just like take stuff personally and can't seem to wrap their head, is because they're mistaking opinions for facts, right?
yeah,
They don't it doesn't occur to them that something that they hold as an opinion is not a fact. And so they think it's a fact. And so when you challenge the fact, they have no choice but to take it personally, because it threatens their something that they've taken on as part of their identity, because they identify with it as a fact. And if you challenge it, then they take it personally. I don't know. I'm trying to unpack this because I don't think I have a lot of things that I can say that about without that I don't question. Like if you
Yeah.
call into question something, I will also question it.
Yeah.
Like, is that true? Maybe that's not true. I don't know. Let's unpack that. Let's talk about that for a while.
Yeah. So no, I think that their point on their post was not to open it up for discussion,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm really not personally offended or anything like that. I kind of walked away laughing from it. And I had other engineers who were also observing, and who messaged me following
Mhm.
with like, what in the world was that?
Yeah.
And because really it turned into what seemed like they thought I was attacking them, and then they're attacking me in retaliation
Right.
when there was no attack to even begin with, so just really
Yeah.
odd. And I'm not trying to soften this or anything, and make it sound like I assure you that it was it went down just the way I said it did. I really wasn't disrespectful in any way. I just wanted to clarify that you don't have to work in an untreated room.
Yeah. I have no doubt. I've never seen you or heard you be disrespectful or anything less than um, you know, courteous. But um think about it from a different way. I mean, if you are on social and you're posting publicly, you should already know you're inviting all kinds of comments, but B, you kind of want comments and discussion because that boosts your engagement. It allows other people to want to come in and engage with you. If you shut down engagement, then not only do you kind of shut off the you know, the amount of reach that your post has, and theoretically that's why you're on social media in the first place. But then you're the one that looks like a dick, and people are less likely to engage with you in the future, because now you're just a defensive person that nobody's going to want to talk to. So this person has clearly done themselves a disservice by shutting you down and assuming that they're going to die on this hill that other people like you also disagree with. So it's weird. The whole thing is weird.
Isn't it weird? I think it's weird.
Weird.
But I guess if you're in that perception, in that mentality, and you're immediately butthurt, then there's no discussion to be had. But before anything even begins, there's no discussion to be had.
Yeah.
And to your point, I mean, every post that I put out there, I'm like, I hope someone comments on my posts and has
Right?
a discussion. I want to talk to you,
Right?
and it's difficult to get interaction, so I would hope to welcome people to my content to interact with me. I'd love to talk to you. So, you too, Matt, where the heck you been?
I've not been as active on social lately.
You're over there on
Busy.
your TikToky doing your thing.
I've been enjoying that. It's been fun.
I liked your recent video where you were recommending producing music, when you didn't have any content and you wanted to do something, and then to actually just produce content that showed your production
Oh yeah.
methodology
So,
and stuff. I thought that was a really good one.
oh, thank you. That's from I did my first live the other night. I went live, and I mean I announced it ahead of time and said, "Hey, I'm going to go live. Come and join me."
Anybody show
And I thought they did, because people they like it keep saying so and so join, but they didn't stay.
up?
Like they
Okay.
joined, bounce, and they joined and they bounced.
Yeah.
Um,
That's been
but I
my
didn't
experience
realize
with live too. So
my first. So It turned out that I was just talking to myself for like 25 minutes. And so I was just kind of like, I'd given myself half an hour to kind of do something. Excuse me. So I was just kind of like riffing on a bunch of topics. And I think that, you know, doing that here on the podcast has kind of helped train me to be able to just do that.
Yeah.
So, so I have this like 25 minutes of just me just going off on a whole bunch of things. And I decided that instead of wasting it, I'm just going to like find the nuggets and just post those as separate videos. So that's what that one was. And I have a couple more that I'm going to post because I don't want it to go to waste. There was some good stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
And people missed it.
I've done some lives and it's just been me and I kind of was prepared for that too because of our training.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just gave myself a list before I started. I wrote down a list of things that I could talk about.
Yeah.
And just talk by myself. And and if anybody comes in and begins a discussion on any one of these, then we can just dive deep, and but it was me talking to myself.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a Q&A. I called it an AMA. I announced it on Twitter. I announced it on TikTok. And at the end, this one person who stuck around was like, I'm the only one here. And I was like, really? Oh, whoops. Thank you for that. Yeah, that was good. It was a learning experience.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. And that's what you and I continue to do, because who listens to us?
I don't know.
And why do we do this? I
And
think really we honestly we do this just so we can have the conversation every Saturday,
I think so too.
which is probably the best thing. Well, let's call it.
Yeah, and on that note, thanks, Doug, for the illuminating conversation.
Oh,
hopefully there's no more butthurt today.
Was that about my lighting?
Yes, the illumination conversation.
All right, everybody. Have an excellent week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. And go out there and make some music.
All right.
Cheers.
Peace.